This video is a replay of a trade I took today. Now, it probably goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. I am not a financial advisor, and trading entails risk. Just because I got these results today doesn't mean that I can get these every day, nor that you can. Remember, the entire premise of the investing project and the $1 million experiment is that I am not an expert, and yet I am learning how to do this. So for heaven's sake, don't just blindly copy me. Instead, find a mentor, someone who is an expert, and join their community. Pay for their mentorship. This approach has worked very well for me, and it likely will for you too. So use this video partly as education and partly as inspiration. After all, if I can learn this, you can too. So a slightly better day today. Of course, the market was rebounding substantially after the major sell-off yesterday. You can see just how that looked. Yesterday was this huge red bar as it just crashed. But unfortunately, most of the rebound happened before the market opened. But didn't really give me a chance to get in any good way. So I wasn't able to capitalize on the upside here, really. I thought, when I looked at the different stocks, it looked like, or the different indexes, NQ had already rebounded, substantially. It was already kind of at the high. It looked like an opportunity for a short, although frankly, it was just, after so many red days, finally got a green day. I don't feel much like shorting at this point. It was just not ready to be shorted. Maybe slightly better opportunity than the ES, but even then, not really. It looked more like the better long here would be on the YM, because it had sold off dramatically leading up to yesterday, and then yesterday as well, and it hadn't recovered very much relative to these other ones. So that seemed like the best long. As it turns out, it wasn't much of a long, but I'll show you this in a second. Actually, let me just go ahead and play this. I got in at 652. So it had gone up a bit, and then it came back down to where this 5-minute breakout would have been, right about here. Comes down, picks me up. So I got in with 4 contracts because I had to put the stop way down here. So, but what we'll see here is it very quickly jumped up to like 70 points ahead. And when it did that, I moved my stop to even. So let's just let this go and jump up there, which it will in a moment. Well, okay, and so it's starting to look like it's going to do what I said. Oh, come on now. Really? I haven't moved it. I haven't moved the stop yet. Haven't clicked it yet still. Once it had gone up a fair ways, it actually breaks that high and goes up. Okay, I'm going to go in. It's not yet though. There's a point where it makes it up to just about 80 points, or maybe a little over 80 points in the positive direction. And that's when I pull this thing to even. I don't want to show when it happened. I'm not seeing it. I'm going to go and pull this to even anyway, even if it stops me out. The point is, it stayed in this area for way too long. Each of these is 5 minutes. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So 35 minutes, 40 minutes in this space. It took me out here, but actually it had gone up a bit further before it took me out, before I'd actually moved it to even. But it had reached the point where it didn't seem like it was going up. Meanwhile, we have the NQ and to some extent the ES still going up. And so I didn't like that very much. It seemed like it had hit a wall and it wasn't going anywhere. So at around 7:46, I finally took a short on the NQ, and that's the one thing that actually made me some money today. So let's look at this. And you can see, with all of these new highs over here on the NQ in particular, nothing doing here on the YM. Not really anything going on the ES either, frankly. But anyhow. So what time are we at? We're at 7:36 right now, so 10 minutes away. Let's just see if we can start to put that position together. Okay, I am going to go and put the trade on here. And it was at 28,159 is the level I was at. So 28,159. And I got in with one contract. What is this? 28. Why not? 2815. Come on, you can do it. Ah, seriously? 28159. There we go. Now, obviously, I hadn't gotten on yet. It's only 7:42. I did it 7:46, but you're going to see I waited for several red candles. I wanted to actually see that this was coming back. So it was after the second red candle that I got in below that. Actually, it was 7:46. Yeah, so this is where I got in. And actually, this was also, by the way, the 15-minute. In fact, it was the 15-minute I was looking at. I didn't want to just get in on the 5-minute. So I got in on the 15 because I needed a little bit more proof, if you will, demonstration that we actually had hit some sort of a level. Now here we are above the previous day's high, of course, way above the pre-market high, and way above the average true range high. And so so it's already up more than 600 points, probably up about 800 points. So a pullback is not unreasonable here. And so I had it trailed 15 points behind once it had reached its level there. And it traded what 15 points behind. I got taken out at a plus 66, so $132 on the one contract. Not a huge day, but you know what? I'll take it after yesterday's drubbing to the tune of $920. 132 was a nice change. And interestingly, it doesn't. I haven't seen it yet here, but I'll show you in a second. This YM, if I hadn't manually moved that to even and I just stayed in, it would have taken me out right about here for a full loss, and that would have been an expensive loss because I had to take like 100 and I don't remember what this was, 170 handles of risk. So that was $340 of risk I was taking on this YM position. So I'm very glad that I did move it to even and it took me out even. So anyway, I ended up on $132 positive on the day. Nice recovery, or at least a somewhat of a recovery from yesterday.